Hello, hello, my beautiful souls. Happy New Year. This is the intuitive card reading for the year of 2026. I have just spent 20 minutes trying to align these beautiful, wonderful indicators of each month because, guys, this is a really long spread. Okay, this is a really, really long spread. This is going to be 3 cards per month. Okay, so that's 12 months. So that's 12, 24, 36. Okay, there's going to be 36 cards. Long reading. I'm going to try to do it under an hour, but we'll see. I need to take deep breaths. But what else? Yeah, I hope. So let me explain this. So basically, the 3 cards are going to be, the first card is usually about the general energy of the month, like kind of like the themes of the month. It can kind of talk about relationships. It can kind of talk about career. It can talk about family. It can talk about health. It kind of goes in all different directions, whatever it is, whatever the month is, right? Whatever the energies are. And then the middle one is going to be our relationships. Again, doesn't have to be romantic. Could be all relationships, coworkers, colleagues, again, family, parents, whatever. And then the last one will be career. If you're retired, hobby, your volunteer work, anything that can help you make impact, anything that brings you purpose, anything that brings you passion, okay, that you're passionate about. So those are kind of like the 3 cards. Maybe some of them will mesh and bleed together, but that's the general way I'm going to be reading these. All right, so you guys know the regular drill, right? Please like this video. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies of the year, okay, for each month broken down. And comments down below. I would love to hear them. And again, Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. I'm actually recording this on New Year's Day. I did that purposely. I wanted something to look forward to on New Year's Day. And also, we have like the month. I put out the monthly yesterday. And so for January, so there's a lot of different readings that I had to do. And so I didn't want to overwhelm you. So this should be coming out today on New Year's Day. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. I think that's my whole spiel. I want to make sure we all are very clear on what I'm going to be doing. And let me sit down, take a deep breath. All right, guys, let's begin. Everything's shuffled. You guys are familiar with these decks. The one that I'm actually using for the relationships is the romance deck. But again, these do not have to apply just to romantic relationships. That's just the name of the deck. You guys know I read intuitively, and it's not always literal when it comes to the cards. So there's that. Okay, there's a little. All right, I'm trying to. I spent like 20 minutes trying to get the aesthetic right, but I did the best that I can. Hopefully, you can see this: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Okay, so there's the slots. It's going to be a tight spot to put 3 cards under each, but again, I'm going to attempt to do so. I did so in the last 2 readings, yearly readings, so it's not impossible, but it's going to be tight. Guys, let's begin. What's the energy of January? Let's go. Community. Okay, what a wonderful card. Ooh, does that fit? See? It's going to be a tight squeeze, guys. It's going to be a tight squeeze. Okay, so, all right, so community. Let me just make sure it's looking okay, and you guys can kind of at least see it a little bit on the video. Okay, you can. Okay, so we have community. So, all right, not too much more I could say here. It's basically saying, well, I didn't say much, but but it's basically saying community is important. It's at least the priority, right? Like I mentioned earlier, like it's going to be like the general energy of the month. Like that's going to be the theme of the month is community, is finding more like-minded people, maybe getting out there, or at least preparing to get out there. We do have the number 8 also on the card. This is a numerology. I should have said that earlier, but we're still early in the reading. This is a numerology year 1. Okay, so that means new beginnings, spiritual awakenings, things like that, which I love. Bring it on, right? Also, too, it's the year of the fire horse. I don't think that starts till February 17th, though, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I like numerology, basically. So the 8 is jumping out to me. 8 means abundance. 8 means plethora, prosperity, like, of many, the opposite of lack, essentially. So basically it's saying, like, if you've wanted to like meet new people or get integrated in your community somehow, January is definitely the time to do so. It's kind of like right off the bat saying, like, if that's what your goals for the year are is to make new friends, to get more integrated, to do more volunteer work, humanitarian work, that kind of stuff. Even though humanitarian work is usually connected to the number 9, that's okay. It says 8 on the card, but that's all right. It could be connected to here in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I mean, connecting to community, and you might just feel like more grounded in your community. If you just moved, for example, you might start like feeling like it's finally like home or something along those lines. So yeah, definitely meeting new people. I know it's cold for those that have seasons. It is freezing here in New York. I do not even want to go anywhere outside. I have to, unfortunately, but this could mean like, meeting, going to meetups, like be very intentional, about your meetups and things like that, like your meetings. So, you're not just leaving the house to leave the house, if that makes sense. All right, what do we got for relationships? Getting to know each other. Okay. All right, so this pairs really well with the community card, because basically it's saying, so I have to layer these because like I said, it's tight. Yeah, so basically this is saying like getting to know somebody. So this is about being curious about others. Again, pairs very well with the community card. Asking questions about other people. This could also mean like not necessarily new people. This could also mean, maybe, we all evolve and change. Maybe you're finding that the people in your life, you feel like you don't really know them so much anymore, or they've gone through something and you need to reconnect in some way and be curious about their experiences and things like that. Or getting to know the new them, like that kind of thing. So definitely that could be associated for sure. What's going on work-wise? We have nature child, friendships with the animals, communication with nature spirit. Okay, so this is upright. All right, so this is basically saying, so it's interesting that we have, first of all, we have an inner child card, and then we have a card that really kind of connects to communication, but also groundedness. I know it says connecting with animals doesn't have to be that literal. Like if we're taking the literal route, maybe some of you guys out there, this is a reading for the collective. I actually don't think I said that. This is for everyone. It's not specific, so take what resonates, but leave the rest. This can mean literal if you're thinking about working with animals this year. I mean, how much more validation do you need after this card, right? It's basically saying no, go for it. Like look for jobs in that place. Part-time pet sitting, working at a zoo, whatever it actually is. It's not that specific for everybody, but it could all, for a more broad way to interpret the nature child or child nature, however you want to say it, is maybe being more grounded in your work. Because we see the card is green, right? And so maybe, having more like a practical or grounded approach. This could also mean like bringing plants into, if you have an office job, bringing plants into your office job, making sure you're feeling more connected to nature, in some way, shape, or form, integrated into your work somehow, that kind of thing. So interesting stuff there, but it could mean any of those or all of those, honestly. All right, February energy, we have message in a bottle. Okay, so February is saying like, oh, our communication is getting really good. Like we're getting better at communication for some reason. We're communicating better with basically everybody in our life, benefits, family, coworkers, that kind of thing. Actually not too much more I can say there. Let me see what the relationships have to say. Let's see if it reinforces that. Forgiving and learning. Okay, so this is really about, I was actually just talking to somebody about this the other day about, people have different definitions of forgiveness. I would say forgiveness maybe has something to do with having more compassion for people. I know in January we were kind of talking about being more curious about people. I think that also applies here, where it's saying like, maybe if you understood why somebody did the things that they did, that it would be kind of easier for you to have a little bit more compassion, and leaning a little bit more on that, compassion and forgiveness. This could be something pretty big. If you've been having a hard time forgiving somebody, this could be the month that this could happen, for example. I definitely feel like it could be major type energy. But yeah, I feel like in our relationships, we are We don't have that mending card. I know there's a mending card in the Wisdom of the Oracle, but you know, that's why I'm saying like forgiveness means like different things. Like you could forgive somebody, but maybe not necessarily, be in their presence all the time, right? You don't have to actually mend a relationship in order to forgive somebody. But this is basically saying like having more compassion in our relationships and seeing the person's point of view, seeing the person's other side, and just letting go of maybe resentments as well in February with our relationships. I just feel like it might be just really healing for us. And I see it as a really positive thing in all relationships. Remember, it doesn't just mean romantic. All right, upside down mystic, delusional rapport with the divine. Okay, so this is like, feeling disconnected from intuition, feeling disconnected from the divine. The card uses that term. So basically we're feeling like we're kind of like disconnected. So this is about work. So being disconnected at work, being disconnected maybe from our, we're starting to realize like, oh my God, my soul's not in my job anymore. Like I need to be doing something that's more soul aligned for me. Like it feels like a realization here where it feels like, okay, this is not something that fulfills me in that way. And you start kind of like asking questions about the work that you do, being like, wait a minute, I don't know if this fulfills me as I thought it would. So there's definitely lots of questions about purpose and fulfillment and, what you're currently doing or what you want to be doing. So I definitely do feel like it kind of like brings up some questions, speaking of questions. And then we kind of have to think about that and, we don't necessarily have to take action in this month because I don't necessarily feel that for February, but you're definitely asking questions about what you're doing. Is it really aligned with me anymore? Is it really what my soul wants to be doing at this particular time in my life in February? I also do want to say, I mentioned a little bit earlier that I believe the fire horse goes into the Chinese New Year is February 17th, I believe. Supposedly, obviously, we're going from the snake to the fire horse. Fire horse energy is like go, go, go energy, like, right off the gates kind of energy. So you might feel like that in itself could foster a job change because maybe you're doing something that's boring and, snake is really about like, transformation. So you transformed into a different person and now what you're doing for work just does not work anymore. And the fire horse wants you to take off running, maybe with something else or in a different way or something like that. So just want to acknowledge that change in February as well. All right, March, we have exchanging gifts. Okay, so this is about, oh gosh, it's tight. What did I tell you guys? It's definitely tight here. Okay, so March is about exchanging gifts. So that means like an even give and take. So it definitely, your life could feel a lot more balanced in March where we feel like, whew, man, like, I feel like, I think I talked about this in like a previous reading, is like, if something was completely imbalanced in your life, like I talked about the justice scales, it wasn't with this exact card, but it's similar type energy when we talk about balance. Like it's not, oh yeah, that's right. I think I gave the example of like, you have the scales of, you look at the scales of justice, you put, it doesn't have to be the scales, just you put on a scale, right? You put like maybe this huge rock, on the one side and then, there's nothing on the other. So the other side gets completely weighed down, right? And so if you take the smaller rocks and evenly distribute it, then it would be even, right? That's what we're talking about here. So this is actually more about the dividing the rocks, right? It's not necessarily the justice. I think the judge card was the one that kind of like gave off that energy where it's like, if it's heavy on one side, it's going to be heavy on the other side. No, now it's going to be an even amount of weight on both sides. Okay, so that's what that's saying. So it's basically saying like things are going to kind of calm down. You're going to have like a good work-life balance. You're going to have a good equilibrium when it comes to like your doing and your being energy, like all of those things in life where we balance things, when we have to balance energies, but maybe you're spending all your time with, maybe you have 2 kids, maybe you've been spending all of your attention has been on the one child, for whatever reasons, they have special needs, whatever. And now it feels like this month, like you can spend your, you can give your pay attention to both kids equally or whatever, it's just whatever it is kind of like balancing itself out and we're getting a lot more equilibrium, and that's a positive thing. Like I feel like a lot of relief coming from March, which is amazing. All right, for relationships, it says make the effort. Okay, so pretty straightforward with that. This is about making the effort to do something to repair relationships coming from the previous month. Could be showing somebody that you appreciate them, or going out of your way to do something for a friend. If I think I saw this last year. It might have been like the previous year, where I saw a creator online just talking about the price of relationships is inconvenience. And it's so true. And I mean, we started out the year with the community card, right? To be part of a community means to do something for your fellow neighbor, right? Is to do things that are, not just for the individual. Trust me, I love individualism, but I think we're going in a direction of being more community focused, right? So this is basically saying, like, make the effort in your relationships, make the effort in your friendships. So you might be doing things in March that maybe you don't necessarily want to do, but you're showing up for people, right? Or people are showing up for you. I feel like it could be reciprocal energy too. So definitely make the effort in your relationships, make it count, show up for people, that kind of thing. Femme fatale. Okay, highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when you're dependency. All right. These are always the sticky ones, the sensual ones. All right, so femme fatale means, all right, so this is with work. So this is going to be interesting. Give me a second while I could try to translate this. So when you're in this archetype, you are, you are attractive. Okay, this is how I'm going to relate it to work. You're attractive based on your feminine qualities. Feminine qualities here, like feminine just means, and I'm actually trying to get away from using these words. That's my resolution for 2026, getting rid of using the words feminine and masculine, because really what it means is being and doing. Okay, and then all the other stuff that kind of goes along, all the other adjectives that kind of go along with them, right? So this is basically saying, like, you will be noticed for your being. Okay, does that make sense to you guys? Like you will be noticed for just being who you are. And so it's in the work slot, okay? So this is basically saying, show up as who you are, and you will attract people, you will gain more money, you will get further ahead, you'll get that promotion. Like, it's basically saying, like, you don't actually have to do anything. You don't have to overperform. You don't have to pretend, you don't have to exhaust yourself. You don't have to pretend to be somebody that you're not to get ahead with what you want to do in work. So this could be just the realization about that, where you're saying, oh my gosh, like, I can get paid to be me, for example. I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards being content creators, is because they just want to be paid for who they are. Influencer is like a big thing. This is a very specific message, but if you've been thinking about that, it looks like March is like a good time to, get online and get yourself out there and be yourself, and, tell people, your truth, and, be, everybody's unique. They have a unique view on how they view the world. Get it out there in some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's writing a book. I don't know. But this is basically saying, like, people are attracted to you, like, people are magnetic to you because of your being, because of just who you are. You don't have to do anything. Okay. You're just who you are. So definitely focus on, and I see all this stuff, in astrology about, like, this is the year of, like, not pretending who we are anymore. I think it has something to do with Pluto and Aquarius. Okay, I'm not an astrologer, so, don't quote me on that. Put it down below in the comments if that's true, to reinforce what I'm saying. But I definitely do. I'm an Aquarius rising, so I could feel this myself, where people are just kind of like, we're moving into the place of, like, authenticity, and people just do not want to be fake anymore, or inauthentic. And in this instance, in March, is saying, like, you can do that and be paid for it. So I love that. It's a great message. Okay, April, we have building blocks. Okay, so this means that we're building something new. Maybe we decide to, coming off what I just said, maybe we decide to get online and become more visible. Maybe this is about actually building a business. Maybe this is about building a new foundation for something. This is definitely about creating something new, because it's the building blocks for sure. So whatever it is, this is like divine timing in order to start it. So definitely April starting something new, which honestly like makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people say like, you know, the new year really kind of and I think this is in astrology, the new year really kind of like starts around springtime, the spring equinox, right? Because it's nothing is really reborn in the winter in January, as they say. So the spring equinox is kind of about new beginnings, spring cleaning, all that stuff. So that makes a lot of sense. I love this. I really do. So yeah, anybody will, thinking today like, oh my gosh, I think I want to start something. April looks like it's a really great month for you for sure. Okay, healing family issues. Okay, this is pretty straightforward, saying like if you have any issues with family, I would even include chosen family, which is friends. There's a lot of healing that could happen here in April. Maybe repairing something with your kids, repairing something with your parents, repairing things with your siblings, maybe a step parent or something like that. I definitely do feel like it's like a good month for family, family connection. We did have that forgiveness energy, a couple months back. So, maybe we started on it a couple months back and it's coming to fruition in April. It's coming to a close in April, but it's a really good month for family and family healing. There's not too much more I can say there. Damsel, understand the nature of healthy romance, inspires you to rely on yourself. Okay. It doesn't have to be romance. Okay. But this is work. So this is more about like independent work, interdependent work. This is about so the damsel is, the most common way we hear the damsel archetype is the damsel in distress. That would be the shadow, right? We're waiting for somebody to save us. We're not waiting for anybody to save us anymore, right? So this is just another indication. This is a really entrepreneurial month. Like if you want to start anything entrepreneurial, my people out there, any side gigs, any, solopreneur journeys, like whatever, April is the time to do it because it's, the damsel is saying it's upright. It's basically saying, I'm not waiting for anybody to give me a promotion. I might as well go after my dreams and do my own thing or something like that. So I definitely do feel like we're taking ownership, we're creating our own reality, and we're just like not relying on work to provide the things, the desires that we do have. Whether it's the desire for more money, whether it's the desire to, again, be yourselves coming from March, whether it's the, desire to be seen, maybe, the desire for socialization. Maybe a lot of you guys like work from home, and it's maybe not working for you anymore, and so you gotta, maybe you'll do like a side gig, maybe buy a business where you can be social on the weekends, whatever it actually is. You're like taking control of that, and you're taking ownership of that. All right, I just want to check in because that's the first quarter, guys. I see nothing negative. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. This all looks really good so far. And I'm like getting really excited. So what was this energy again here? Getting to know you. Yeah, no, I didn't feel any negativity off of that either. Okay, let's keep going. Guys, so far so good. And I wouldn't blow smoke up your asses, so. Oh wait, we have to pull this down just a little. Sorry guys, it's tight here. All right, so we have imagine. All right, so this is about visualization. This is about dreaming bigger. Like now we can dream bigger in May. We can imagine, it feels like a lot of the obstacles that were maybe like holding us back, we can now see beyond those obstacles. Now we can see the bigger picture. We can start planning things, manifestation. We start manifesting things, really just imagining what the rest of the year could look like, or maybe like the next few years or the rest of our life. So I definitely feel like things are expanding for us, a lot of expansion there, but also like, basically saying like you're free to visualize however you want your life to look. Like it's more creating your own reality. Like I feel like April to May, we take more ownership and we're like, no, I'm going to make the life that I want a reality. I'm going to do it. Okay, playfulness. Woo, we like this. Okay, so being playful, lots of flirting, lots of, wonderment, being like a little kid, working on your inner child, just like maybe like a little bit of an innocence thing kind of going on, but definitely being in your playful era. Don't be afraid to like make jokes or, just be playful in general, flirty energy. Definitely like if you're been on like a dating hiatus, May is definitely the time to think about starting to get out there, dipping your feet in the dating pool. You might feel more flirty with your significant other if you're with somebody, so maybe like a spark can come back. You might be a little bit less serious, like a little bit more, how could I say this? Light, maybe there's been family drama. We're coming off of, it definitely feels like a significant type of healing happening in April. Maybe not completely, but like by May, we feel maybe a little bit more light about that in our family relationships. We're less serious, we're feeling good. And I see really positive things for our relationships in general in May. That's awesome. Okay, Martyr, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or cause. Okay, so this is about wanting to be of service to people. So you can definitely, coming off of the last couple of career cards that we've gotten, this means that we start thinking about how we can be of service to others. So we want to take control of our own lives and do something. Now in May, we might start thinking about what's the best way we can help somebody, putting our skills together, thinking about how we can be, again, of service to people, right? It's not necessarily just wanting to be ourselves. We also have to kind of like have a service kind of like attached to that. Like, what are we helping somebody do? Like, what problem are we helping people solve kind of situation, which I love. And so that comes into play there for May. So I definitely feel like between April and May, we're really kind of figuring out like a next kind of career move for us, which is great. I love that. Okay, June, poise. Okay, so you are ready. Right, this is basically saying like, I need to, guys, it's so tight. Oh my God, so crowded. Okay, this is June though. This is basically saying like, poise is saying like, okay, I'm ready. I'm doing everything I can to get ready. I'm doing, if you bought a business, you're making sure that everything is up to code. You're making sure, if you bought like a laundromat, you're making sure all the machines work. You're doing all that stuff. You're kind of like getting ready. Maybe you didn't buy it quite yet and you got to make sure your credit's in place, like things like that. So there's definitely like saying like, what do you have to do to prepare yourself and kind of like think about all of the avenues in order to kind of do that. Now, it doesn't have to be the business because this is the general reading. So this is basically, this is the general energy. So this could be like you're ready for a new relationship. You are, you're getting ready for something. Maybe you're getting ready for a move. You're getting ready to give birth. You're whatever it actually is. So it could be all of those things. I do think coming off of the energy from these two, from career, from April and May, it could, definitely, this is a reading for the collective, but most of you guys, what I said first, about kind of like a business, getting ready for doing something, more of service, more, that makes you feel more like yourself, like that kind of thing. But again, could be any of those things that I mentioned and more, right? So you're like kind of like really kind of getting ready to get it going. Whatever it is. All right, engagement. Okay, so your love life is ascending to a higher level of command. Okay, so this is what I mean by you don't take everything literal. Can it mean a literal engagement? Yeah, it could. It could be. Like all those people that, are maybe in a long-term relationship and that's something that you really want, June could definitely be an engagement for sure. But this usually means ascending to like a higher level within a relationship. So this could just be in a different level with the people in our life, different relationships. And different levels of the relationship ascending higher. So it could be we're getting closer to people. Maybe we are getting closer to the community we made in January. Maybe something happens and you feel closer to your best friend. Guys, it is halfway through, so let me just take a sip of water. Whew. All right, I'm good. I think so. Okay, so this is about just going to a deeper level of any kind of relationship that we have. Maybe you're trying to repair your relationship with your parents. Maybe you go on a deeper level there. Maybe you are the parent. Maybe you're trying to have a deeper level with your child, a deeper relationship with your child. This feels like we go somewhere, we take another step in our relationships, and it's, again, a positive thing. Okay, we have bully in the shadow, conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Okay, so this is about confronting bullies. This is about confronting people that intimidate you. Okay, so this might be, I maybe spoke too soon, but I would say this is probably the first kind of negative-ish card that we've got going on here, which is a pretty good streak. Okay, our first 6 months looks pretty good. But this basically says that and it's not necessarily quote unquote bad, but like the energy here is like confronting bullies, confronting things that intimidate you, confronting the things that maybe we're scared of. So I definitely do feel like it's more confrontational energy. To be honest with you, I don't mind confrontational energy. It's just the way that you do it. You know, I'm a little bit more of like a direct person, so I don't mind that. But this might be that you're confronting somebody. This is in work. So this could be somebody that you work with, again, who you volunteer with. This could also mean that you confront the fears of, you know, of the things that maybe intimidate you. So if you're afraid to do something at work, you know, to show a certain side of yourself or to go for something that you want or something like that, this is also about confronting your fears as well. So this could also be, you know, translated that way. So again, I don't think it's necessarily bad, but there's definitely confrontational energy here for sure. Confronting fears. So it could be tough work. It could be a little bit of shadow work there in June for sure. Okay, July, we have Treasure Island. Oh my goodness. What a wonderful, guys, these are all like wonderful cards. It's like crazy. I swear I'm like not, like you guys know I shuffle, but all of these people are saying 2026 is going to be a really great year for a lot of people. And so far, they're not wrong. Okay, so we have Treasure Island, which means like hitting the jackpot. It's about finding treasure. So this could mean, for some reason, this is a little bit of a specific message, but you guys know that I read intuitively. This could mean like somebody's offering you something, like offering you something of monetary value. For some reason, I'm getting like loans. So somebody might like give you a loan or give you access to money that you didn't have, or kind of whatever you would consider a treasure, you know, maybe literally like jewelry or something, or like some like you have access to something that you wouldn't normally have access to. Maybe you're getting like an inheritance. This could also be like an inheritance. Like, I don't know why Spirit keeps showing me like jewelry in a jewelry box, like almost quite literally a treasure island kind of thing, like a treasure chest. You know, like this could be like an inheritance of some kind, like somebody giving you something that's like worth a lot of money. This could be like somebody gifting you something like that's like worth a lot of money. I definitely do feel like it's like some kind of item. So I don't think it would be like a trip or anything like that. I'm not necessarily getting that, but I definitely do feel like we're being offered a plethora of like something that could gain us a lot of money, or a lot of wealth. Like definitely like that word wealth is coming up. Like it could also be like we're making like maybe the most money that we've made maybe in the last few years in this month. It could also be that for sure. But it's almost like somebody's like giving it to you. Like I feel like somebody's giving it to you. So again, could be a loan. Yeah, I guess if you like look at it the way of like if you have like a business, people are giving you money. I could see that for sure. You know, whenever there's like an exchange of money, that could make sense. But yeah, I mean, nothing but good things. We'll take the money and inheritance any way it comes, you know. So that's pretty cool. All right, deception. Oh, okay. So I did speak too soon here. Okay. That's okay, guys, because so far this year looks really good. Okay, so, you know, coming off of June, where it was kind of, you know, that confrontational energy, we have deception in relationships. So this is where we might find out that somebody is wearing a mask, somebody is not who they say that they were, somebody is pretending to be. It could be something as simple as somebody's pretending to be who they're not. Okay, so there's somebody around our circle that we feel that way, and we're kind of, this could also be like you're finding out something about someone and they've kind of been lying to you like for a long time. Because I'm not gonna lie, guys, it feels like a deep deception. You know, it's not like we just like meet somebody and they lie about something and we find out the next day. It feels deeper than that. Maybe it's like a friend of 10 years and you finally find out she's been like hiding a secret from you or something like that. And it really changes your perception on her. You know, like things like that. That's what I'm talking about here. That's why I'm like, ooh, I don't love this energy right here. But that's not till July, you know. But yeah, I definitely do feel like it's something around that. I will say too, I'm getting kind of like another specific message here where it's basically saying, if you are starting a new business and it's not like a solo entrepreneur thing, just be careful who you hire. You know, if you hire like an assistant or you hire like a worker in your company, you know, that you just started. You know, I gave an example of like buying a laundromat. You know, the people that work there, you know, just like double check. Just double check, you know, like do a background check, like the kind of person that we are, like that kind of thing. So just be like, I would say like weary in this month of like the people around you. You know, if you have an intuition or a hunch that maybe somebody is lying to you about something, I would say definitely go with that hunch and do your research. You know, don't go out and accuse somebody without any evidence, but you're having that intuition for a reason in July. I also want to say that it is, you know, being next to that Treasure Island in the same month, there might be something where, you know, somebody is coming after your money, right? Because it's like connected to the Treasure Island. So be careful of that as well. So if you do get an inheritance and you want to talk to an investor, please do your research about the kind of investors that you give your money over to, like that kind of stuff. Okay. Make sure they're a good person, make sure they're moral, you know, like that kind of stuff. So just be careful. Okay. You know, you're going to be side-eyeing, you know, the people around you in July. That's for sure. Whew. Don't love that energy, so let's move on here. Okay, artists, in the shadow, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as a surrender. Okay, this is about blocked creativity. This is about blocked inspiration. This is about blocked self-expression. So it definitely feels like, oof, all right, guys, July is going to be good in some ways with like money, but like also like negative in like relationships and like creativity. Okay, but you know, there might be like a you know, it started out good with the Treasure Island, but it feels like other things that are going on in our lives is not going to be so great in July. So yeah, it's blocked creativity, blocked self-expression, blocked inspiration. If we're trying to create something, it's not a great month to do so. We might get really frustrated with ourselves. If you're a writer and, you know, maybe you have a book publishing deal or something like that, and they need it by August 1st, and, you know, it feels like excruciatingly painful because you can't, like, you have such writer's block and you just can't get it done by the deadline. It feels frustrating. So I'm saying that because it's in the career. We're talking about career here. So it's something that we have to do for your career. Like, it's not just painting a picture at home. I mean, it can be hobbies for sure, but it definitely does feel like it can affect us in some way, shape, or form about like moving forward in our career for sure. So I definitely do feel blocked in some way there. Also, again, self-expression, like maybe at work you're afraid to express yourself about something, you know, due to fear of retaliation or something. It is next to the deception card, so maybe there is somebody at work that's like that is deceptive, that is manipulative, that, you know, that you don't want to speak up about. Yeah, again, just blocked creativity all around. But again, especially at work. All right, hopefully August will get better. Let me see. Yes, it does. Okay, so this is such a great card to get after that because it's serendipitous, means in the flow, synchronistic. So things definitely start to flow a lot better in general. And we finally feel like we're like in the groove. You know, we're kind of like doing things that feel right to us, that feel intuitively aligned for us. Serendipitous could also mean like serendipitous things, like things happen that you know like out of the things that we need just come out of the blue. That, you know, maybe we did get a lot of money and we're still looking for somebody to invest our money, and we meet like the perfect person at a party. Like we're not even like, it's almost like things show up when we're not even looking for them, kind of energy. Like a little bit of luck. I don't love the word luck, but it definitely does feel like that, because I don't necessarily believe in luck, right? I feel like I believe in alignment. So yeah, I mean, I love that. It just feels like all of the loose ends, maybe in your, anything that was like loose ends in your life get tied up here. So it looks good. I like that. All right, so let's see what our relationships look like. Very soon, clear, decide what you want. So that comes. Okay, so if there's something that you want in a relationship, this is basically saying like have patience. It is coming soon. So you might in this month in August start to see things come to fruition of what you want. So maybe you're trying to manifest a partner, maybe you're trying to, manifest like a long-term partner, and you can see, or a long-term relationship, and you can see the fruits of that labor in August. Like you can see the relationship that you want, whether you start, like maybe you're in the early stages of dating somebody that might be able to fulfill this relationship that you want, right? And so Spirit is saying like, have patience, everything is coming together, obviously, with the serendipitous card. So yeah, just have patience. Everything that you want and desire within the relationships are coming soon. So a lot of like divine timing needs to be had here, like understanding that like everything happens at the right time. So if it's not happening in August with your relationship, maybe you're trying to get married, maybe you're waiting for your significant other to propose, and it's not happening, but you can see the signs that it's happening. Like that's the kind of stuff that you kind of need to look out for, and you need to be patient. If you're trying to have trying to get pregnant, that's another, this could count in the relationships. You're trying to get pregnant, you really, really want it, but it's going to happen soon. You took a pregnancy test, it is negative, but you see all the signs that it's coming, that it's happening. This could also mean maybe at work, I'm giving a lot of examples here. At work, it could be like there's somebody at work that really bothers you, that really annoys you, that really makes it hard to work, and show up every day and, get your work done, and they're annoying and they don't do, they're like dead weight on the team, and you're just like waiting for them to get fired, and you can see you like know it's coming, you can see the signs. And so Spirit is saying like, just wait, things will happen the way that they're supposed to happen, like that kind of thing. So you could feel a little impatient when it comes to our relationships in August. Okay, Thief in the shadow, stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers you think you lack. Okay, so this is very interesting coming off of the Artist card, because it feels like you start to like steal, like it was in the shadow, so it's like you're stealing ideas or mimicking and emulating like other people's work or ideas. So giving that example about like writer's block, maybe you start to, I don't want to say plagiarize, but like you read a book and you're like, oh, I'm just going to follow the arc of this book, this story of this book. And kind of like change like a couple of things, change maybe the main character and and the antagonist and all that stuff. So just make sure you don't do that. Is basically what I'm saying. But it makes you feel that way. It makes you feel like you have to kind of do what other people are doing, because they're successful and you're not being successful. You can't come up with the ideas. You can't come up with the story. You can't, you feel like you need help from other people, but it's not necessarily help. Right? If it was help, it would be like the mentor card, like that kind of energy, but it's more so of like taking from others. And it's like a negative thing. Okay. It's definitely a negative thing. So, have restraint, I would say. Not only do you have to have patience, but you have to have restraint with your career, whatever you're doing, and not necessarily steal ideas from other people. Like maybe you are trying to, that's a good example here. Maybe you're a coach. I don't know. Maybe you're a coach out there and you are trying to figure out like a coaching package that like works best for you, and you're having blocks from the previous month, and you're like, I'm not sure what it should look like, and you see other people doing stuff, and you're kind of like, oh, I can do what my competition is doing. I can do the same structure of that coaching program. Whereas it's not bad to like kind of, compare like your competitor and things like that, but stealing from it or copying is not going to be the greatest thing, because I think it's going to bite you in the ass at the end of the day. So don't do it, refrain from it, continue, trying to move forward with your kind of own ideas and your own thing, without copying other people, especially since, again, I mentioned this year is really about like stepping more into authenticity, because when I say it'll bite you in the ass, people will know that you're being fake. Like, people will know that you've stolen from other people's work. Like, you ever see creators online who are just reiterating the same talking points as like somebody else's, as somebody else, basically, right? And you're like, oh, they're just copying what the other person said, like that kind of thing. So definitely don't resort to that. It'll bite you in the ass at the end. Don't cut corners is like another good way to say it. Don't, and anything like where you feel like you have to compete, and play dirty in that way, don't do it. It'll bite you in the butthole. That's all I have to say for that. All right, I think I've explained it enough, or maybe over-explained it at this point. Okay, so September is All That Glitters. This is usually about, All That Glitters is not gold. So everything on the other side of the fence is not, it's not always greener on the other side of the fence. The grass isn't always greener. So this is really about gratitude. This is about being grateful for what you have. This is about not letting, how do I say this? Not letting your ego kind of get in the way. So yeah, coming off of that energy with August for sure. That's another way to kind of describe this. Accepting people for who they are could also be linked to this. Like you might think that you might need a better partner, or maybe, again, you're like mending a relationship in your family and you want them to do better, and it's kind of like you're not accepting them for all the work that they've done so far, and you're pushing them. Like, don't push people for sure. Yeah, this is kind of about like having gratitude for what you actually have, and not always like looking for something better is really what that is saying in general. Relationships, stay optimistic. Okay, so yeah, this is about staying optimistic, about seeing things in a positive light. There's not too much more I can say on that one, but yeah, it seems like be positive. Give people the benefit of the doubt is also like another kind of good thing to kind of go here. Know that everything will work itself out, coming off of the serendipitous energy from August. So yeah, stay optimistic about your future and about the relationships, the relationship that you do have, and possibly the relationship that you do want. So maybe it's by September and you don't necessarily have exactly what you want. Stay optimistic. You'll get there. Okay, so in the career, we have father and talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. Okay, so this is about being a good role model, is a good way to kind of put it. So this is, honestly, it's about integrity. It's about being a good role model. It's about the card kind of describes it as like a positive guiding light. So yeah, maybe like being like a good leader without necessarily crossing boundaries. So yeah, this just means like staying in integrity in work, in your volunteer activities. Could also mean like you're stepping up for something, and you're doing it again with integrity. Just, and basically reiterating, like, if you're going to do it with integrity. Yeah, I see that as a positive thing, honestly. There's not too much I can say there, but I see it, like I said, as a positive. I see all of this as a positive. Like, even the, the the glitter, what is it called? All That Glitters card. I do see that as a positive. It's always good to be more accepting of the things that you have, for sure. All right, guys. Whew. Okay, we're going to the last quarter. Here we go, guys. All right, we have the yin energy. So yin energy is being energy. Okay, and so October is kind of like, okay, we get to chill. Okay, we're just kind of chilling. So we're really we're really connected to our yin energy. I already said earlier, I want to kind of get away from feminine, masculine energy, but this could be in your feminine energy. Okay, so if you identify as female, this could be tapping into that part of yourself. Be more receiving is also feminine energy, is also yin energy. So if somebody wants to do something for you, let them do it for you in this month, basically. Maybe do the things that make it fun, make you feel more womanly as a female. If you identify as a female person. I don't know if there's too much I can say here, but I think that's it. So if you're being in your being, that means you're not in your doing. So do not overwork yourself this month, I will say. Do not be an overgiver this month. That would burn you out for sure, but it'll feel like you're forcing it. Like if there's stuff that you need to get done, it's okay to push it to the next month. You don't have to, be crazy busy in this month. Do not overdo it. I think that's pretty much it. Worth waiting for. Okay, divine timing is at work in your love life. Okay, so here we are again about divine timing. So we had in August, we had like a lot of patience type energy, right? With very soon, like what's coming is very soon. Kind of the same energy. What was this again? Stay optimistic. Yeah, so I gotta say, August, September, October, within our relationships, we're waiting for something. Having patience, staying optimistic, and then still waiting, right? So there's definitely something in August, September, October with our relationships where we feel like we don't have exactly what we want with our relationships, so we kind of have to, I know I said patience for August, but really you have to have it for September, October. You also need to have optimism, right? Like I said in September. But I feel like by October, we're still waiting for it, whatever it actually is. Waiting for reconciliation, waiting for a ring, like I said, waiting for the next level in your relationship, waiting for that relationship. Could be a bunch of things within our relationship. Waiting for our child to forgive us, waiting for our children to come home, maybe they're at college, you're still waiting for something within our relationship, waiting for an apology, something going on here. So it feels like we're kind of in a lull here, August, September, October. Very curious what that could be for some people. Okay, we have victim, prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Okay, so this is really about saying no, I'm going to be the creator of my own reality. We got a lot of that in April and May, and we have more of it here in October where we're saying no, I won't be victimized. I'm going to take this situation. I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to be a survivor. I'm going to be empowered. So a lot of empowerment energy. So this could also mean something has happened to you, because I hate that, if you guys know by now, I really don't love this word victim. I think people overuse it, and I think they also use it to victim blame people. So I don't love that. But this really kind of just means you're not allowing the circumstances that you've been dealt to hold you back in life. That's really what this means. And that's the that's why I don't like when people misuse this word, because you can be there's a light to the victim mentality. There's a light to this, so I personally know people in my life that say oh God, I hate that word victim. I think it's very dismissive, and I don't like it, because we have a whole freaking justice system with victims and perpetrators. So it is a real thing where people, this whole system, people are seeking justice. That's all they want. They don't want revenge. They want justice. Well, maybe some people want revenge, but that's not what the system is about. It's about justice. So anyway, the victim becomes less powerless and becomes empowered, and that's the light of it. So it's okay, and so this is basically saying that we're becoming more, oh sorry, my Alexa went off. It's just becoming more empowered in some way in our life. And again, it could be from something that has disempowered us. Okay, so going back to the example that I gave about maybe you bought a business, maybe your business was victimized. Maybe somebody broke into your business, which again makes you the victim. There's a burglar and then there's a victim, right? and they stole things from you, but you're not letting it define you. You're not letting it put you into a deep, dark depression. Like things, you're not giving up. You're not selling the business, like things like that. Like you're, in some way, shape, or form, become more empowered and you take ownership. And so maybe you buy a huge alarm system and security cameras, due to that situation. So you're definitely feeling empowered, and you step up in some way or shape or form that, when it comes to work in some way. So you're not feeling sorry for yourself. You're getting done what needs to get done, which I like. All right, November is deep knowing. Okay, so this is more, this is actually kind of like more yin energy because it has to do with our intuition. So a lot of deep knowings are coming in November. Like a lot of like knowing what is right for you, what's aligned for you, what's coming. So intuition is strong in November. Listen to it. If something does not feel right based on your inner knowing, which again, I say this every single time, that is the weird intuitive gift that nobody listens to because it's not quite like the feeling. It's not quite like the seeing, right? It is, something and you can't explain why you know something. You know something is not for you and you can't explain why it's not for you. You don't have to explain it. You just don't have to do it. Okay? And so I think that's really important for November. You know what's right for you and you know what's not right for you. So listen to your inner knowing for sure in all areas, because that's the general energy, right? Retreat. You know what? I was just thinking, like, as I was going through this last row, I'm like, wow, there's like no travel. There's no, vacations. Like there's no, I thought maybe we get maybe the hedonism card already, but we haven't. Not to say that you guys won't be traveling or vacationing or anything like that. But I haven't gotten any specific type messages around that. So I thought that was interesting until now. So November we had retreat. So this is basically saying like, take a family vacation, go on a retreat, maybe a solo retreat, travel somewhere, explore somewhere new, go on that honeymoon you've been putting off, like things like that. So some kind of trip or some kind of event, doesn't even have to be far. You don't have to, jump on a plane and go all the way to Bangkok or something for a trip. You can go on a weekend trip, maybe a couple hours away. But I definitely do feel like, yes, it could be solo, but this is under the relationship. So this could mean like a vacation with someone can help bond, strengthen the bond or bond with somebody. So if you get an invitation for a vacation in this month, definitely take it, from an individual or something like that, like a friend. Go for it. You're gonna have a blast. You're gonna have the time of your life with this. So yeah, some getting out of your ordinary routine every day with somebody else is basically saying it's positive for your relationship. Whew, my mouth is dry. Okay, we have mother in the shadow, guilt, and children for becoming independent. Okay. This is like being an overbearing mother. So it's interesting that we have the father and the mother. We had the father in the upright, though, in the light. And this is saying it's in the shadow. Okay, so at work, we can be overbearing. We can be codependent. We can be hovering over somebody. We can be like a lot of like distrusting feelings as well. Like maybe we don't trust somebody that we work with. Like the shadow is like helicopter mom, that's like hovering over them and watching their every move, and micromanaging could definitely fit in this, especially for work. So somebody micromanaging you, it's a bonus that they might be a female, female presenting, female identifying, I should say. Yeah, you could be doing it or somebody could be doing it to you. I want to reiterate. Somebody, like you can have an overbearing person that is breathing down your neck and trying to micromanage you. And I definitely feel like this suffocating feeling, like you might feel suffocated in some way, shape, or form. So we might have to put down boundaries. In the relationship slot, we have go on vacation. So, if it is somebody at work and that they're doing, well, yeah, it's under the works section here. So yeah. We might want to take a vacation from them. Okay, this would be a great time to be away from them. That kind of thing. But yeah, do the best that you can, hold the boundaries, you know, set boundaries, that kind of thing. All right, December, we've made it to the end, guys. Okay, so December is about why. Okay, so that's about awareness. So we're becoming curious, we're self-reflecting, we are asking ourselves why, we're becoming curious. You know, we started the year about being curious about other people, now we're being more curious about ourselves. I love that. Or life in general, honestly, like where do I want to go? So definitely like a lot of like deep introspection come December, which I love. Maybe thinking about the coming year, that's not abnormal. That's what I was doing this past December, you know, thinking about like the new year and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I like that. Okay, we have reconciliation. Okay, so reconciling with somebody. Okay, so this could be, so Spirit was asking us August, September, October to be patient within our relationships, that maybe we're not getting something that we want. That want could be reconciliation. That could be happening in December. But this could also mean, you know, it might not have anything to do with what's going on in October, in August, September, and October. It could just be we're randomly reconciling with somebody, maybe that we met earlier in the year, or maybe like from previous years. So I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, I'll throw this out here, that you guys get like a surprise phone call from somebody from the past, or somebody trying to make amends with you, or somebody apologizing to you of some kind, like getting an apology. Could this be us? It could be. Maybe we're giving somebody an apology. Maybe we're reaching out to somebody, you know, from the past in some way. Possibly. I feel like it's more done to us. Yeah, I see it as a positive thing. Like, I don't think it's like a crazy act coming back from the past that we do not want to hear from. I don't think it's that. It feels more loving, and it feels more in a positive way of reconciling with somebody. Again, not going back to like a toxic ex or something. And then with work, we have shadow vampire, depleting others for psychic survival, chronic codependency. Okay, so we're recognizing the toxicity. We're recognizing what is draining us. Very interesting coming off of the shadow mother. So we could definitely, like I was talking about here with boundaries, definitely put up the boundaries even stronger in December. I don't love this. I don't love ending the year with this type of energy with work. So something happens towards the end of the year where we do have to put up stronger boundaries and protect our energy more. Again, could be like somebody overbearing, somebody micromanaging, somebody that is a little bit more controlling, or vampire could also be narcissistic. It could also be like people that complain all the time, people that are negative all the time. So yeah, in November and December, something to do with work, we have to protect our energy a lot more, put up a lot more boundaries, and we can feel less free. I don't love that, because the whole year was pretty good outside of that, where we felt more free, you know, in charge and that kind of thing. So ending it with November and December, where we're feeling like a little, again, smothered or suffocated or micromanaged. I don't love that, you know, drained. But, you know, do your best to protect your energy at work as best that you can, basically in November and December. So, woo, guys, can I take a sip of water? Because we are done. Guys, first of all, January through June, I wouldn't even count June. I was just getting a little, you know, compared to all the other energy, the bully energy felt like a little off. But again, it's not that bad. It just feels like we have to do some shadow work, which I don't think is bad. You know, I don't think it's negative. And maybe some confrontation. But again, confrontation is not always a quote unquote bad thing. Okay, it's just can be a little uncomfortable. But then it gets July, it gets a little sticky in there. Not with money though. I feel like the best money month is definitely July for sure. Yeah, definitely for sure. Best in our relationships. Let me me see. What was July again? Oh, yeah, no. That was not good. June, I would say. June. What was May? Playfulness. Yeah, May and June definitely best for our relationships. What's in April? I would say April, May, June for sure. What's in March? Yeah, it could be, there's effort needed for our relationship, so it might feel a little bit more like work. But yeah, April, May, and June definitely best for relationships. July best for money. April best for our family connections. Yeah. I would say best for work. I would say either September or March and April. It honestly, it feels like March and April are going to be pretty great. So I love that. So we have to kind of, I don't know about you, but you guys know my history by now. I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but I'm still not well. I'm hoping for me around March and April is kind of the turning point. So we will see, and you'll hear it, trust me, from me. I will scream from the top of the rooftops when I am completely healed. And when I'm completely healed, by the way, this setup, I'm definitely, one of my goals for this year is to make this more aesthetically pleasing for you guys. I don't know if I said that in the beginning because it's been so long, but yeah, definitely going to be working on, and I'm definitely going to get back on camera for sure. Hopefully, like I said, March, April time. I mean, we'll see, maybe May, but that's my goals for the year. And I would love to hear your goals actually down below. And also, I don't think I said this in the beginning either, but please put your comments down below and tell me what resonates, what doesn't. Any, any comments really at all, just be kind. That's all I'm asking. And I think that's it. Oh, my last advice is, what I like to do with the yearlies is watch it in the very beginning of the year. Watch it maybe, you can watch it month by month if you want, maybe every 3 months, do it quarterly. I like to do it halfway through the year and then towards the end of the year to see if, how things shaped, manifested, I guess I should say, the way that I described them. Whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I just want to thank you for watching my channel. I love you guys so, so much. I hope to return to the land of the living and go back into society this year. I feel like it's it, guys. I feel like 2026 is the year. So I hope it's a great year for all of you as well. And I'll see you next time. Bye.